Welcome to Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church. Our service today is called Walking Our Talk, Immigration Sunday. We will begin worship this morning with our processional, which honors the folks who keep the church running. Josh, please share our processional now. Good morning. I am the Reverend Dr. Suzanne Intriligator. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I welcome you to Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church. We are glad you could join us this morning. If you are looking this morning for inspiration and uplift, then you have come to the right place. If you are looking for stories about regular people stretching themselves to do the right thing, to make meaningful connections across cultures and continents, then you have come to the right place. Today, our immigration ministry team will tell you all about the work they do, and we'll hear directly from the asylum seekers that we as a congregation are supporting. To learn more about our church and our values, please visit our website at melroseuu.org. On our welcome page, you can find a link to our digital guest book. And N, who is our chat host this morning, will post that link in the chat box now. And if you're new to us or interested in exploring our faith a bit further, we're just about to launch a new small group ministry program called Starting Point. To get invited to that, email Katie at dre@melroseuu.org and can put that address in the chat as well. And feel free, everyone, to use the chat box to say hello and greet one another. And please all do feel welcome to stay afterward for our virtual coffee hour. I have just a couple further short church announcements for you today. Congratulations to everyone who sent out their vote forward letters yesterday in the big send. Many folks in our congregation have been preparing for the coming election for months now and have done their utmost to encourage our fellow citizens to register and vote. Thank you all. And speaking of the election, if you would like a place to talk about your concerns, I'm hosting a Circle of Caring for the next 3 Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. on Zoom. It's a meeting where we light a chalice and share a reading, and then we open a warm and supportive space for anyone to share worries or upset. Then we pray for a peaceful and just outcome. All are welcome to join us. You can get the link in the midweek update. We're having a special meeting after the service today. Then the president of our board, Dan Griscom, is here to tell you more about it. Dan, go ahead.
Good morning. After the service today, we'll have a finance forum and special congregational meeting. Our treasurer, John Pastel, will be updating us on our budget and funding, and the congregation will vote on 3 different issues. To be eligible to vote at this meeting, you need to have signed the membership book and made a recorded financial contribution between October 19th, 2018 and September 18th, 2020. We are limiting the coffee hour breakout rooms to just 10 minutes today so that more people can stay for the meeting. Please join us. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. And I wanted to add that at 2 p.m. today, a group of us are having a little casual meeting in person at Greenwood Park, which is across from the Stone Zoo, where we often have our Father's Day picnic. That's at 2 p.m. Feel free to come on along, bring a chair, bring a mask. We will enjoy seeing one another's beautiful faces from a safe social distance. I hope to see you there. And speaking of beautiful faces, now it's the time to greet your neighbor. Click on gallery view so you can see everyone and scroll through the windows. Give everybody a wave and a virtual hug as you do. It's a joy to see your faces here today. Hey, everybody. Oh, wow. Lots of people. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Fantastic. I call us to worship this morning with these 2 quotes from the poet Richard Blanco. He is the poet who read at President Obama's 2nd inauguration. The inscription on Blanco's book, How to Love a Country, reads, "Tell me with whom you walk, and I'll tell you who you are." And one more quote from Blanco's poem called What I Know of Country. To know a country takes all we know of love. Some days are better than others, but never easy. To keep our promise every morning of every year of every century and wake up, stumble downstairs with all our raging hope. Let us bring our raging hope for this country that we love into our worship this morning. And now, along with UUs everywhere, I will light the symbol of our faith, the flaming chalice. Today, our chalice lighting reading will be given by the co-chairs of our immigration ministry team, Paul Belfonte and Michelle DeVoe. Paul and Michelle.
Welcome, who come in friendship, who long for genuine community.
May you be graciously received here as your authentic self.
Welcome, who come in curiosity, full of questions or simply open.
May you embrace wonder and encounter new delights.
Welcome, who come heavy with fatigue, weary from the troubles of the world or the troubles of your particular life.
May you rest and be filled in this sacred space.
Welcome, who come with joy, for flowing rivers and gentle breeze, for changing skies and great trees.
May the grace of the world leave a lasting imprint in you.
Welcome, who come with thanks for the altruism of the earth and the gift of human care.
May your grateful heart overflow and bless those around you.
Come, let us celebrate together this wondrous life.
Thank you, well done. And now let us join together in our opening hymn. It's an old favorite of African origin, and it speaks to the journey that we are all on. Wo ya ya.
And we will
Please let us join together in the words of our covenant, which is on your screen now. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship to the end, that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. This is our great covenant, one with another and with our God. Thank you, choir. And now it's time for our story. Please, folks of all ages, gather around your device. Take it away, Katie.
Good morning, friends. When we were choosing our story this morning, we thought that some of our kids following along might be wondering, what exactly is a refugee anyway? So we chose this book, which is a nice, simple explanation of what a refugee is. It's called What is a Refugee by Elise Gravel. And while you're listening, I want you to think about why it is that we as Unitarian Universalists are called to support people like refugees and how it fits into our faith values to do so. A refugee is a person, just like you and me. Refugees had to flee their country because they were in danger. Some of them had to flee because their country was at war. Some had to leave because powerful people didn't like what they thought or said and wanted to hurt them. And you can see the girl sign says, everybody is created equal. Others had to leave because people didn't accept their religion or hated them because they were different. Most refugees would have preferred to stay in their country with their friends and family. But it was too dangerous. Also, often their homes were destroyed and they didn't have anything left. Refugees had to find another country to live in, and that's not easy. There are countries that don't want to welcome more refugees. While they were waiting for a new country to welcome them, many refugees had to stay in camps where life was hard. Refugees were lucky if they could find a country where they could live a normal life and do normal things like go to school and make friends, or work, or live in peace and safety, just like you and me. Now, the author had an opportunity to meet some refugee kids while she was writing the book, and she asked them to tell her a little bit about themselves. So the next little bit is what they had to say. My name is Isla. I had to leave Syria because of the war. I love to draw with my sister. We make funny comic books. I'm Majid. I come from Sudan. There was a lot of fighting. I'm very good at soccer. I could play all day. My name is Rosaline. My family is from Haiti. My grandmother and 2 of my cousins couldn't come with us. I miss them so much. My name is Musa. I come from Afghanistan. I love video games, especially Fortnite. My parents think I play too much. My name is Nala, and I left Somalia because there was a war and a drought. What I love about my new country is Halloween. We didn't have that where I come from. My name is Sebastian, and I used to live in Cuba. We can't live there anymore because my parents don't agree with the government. I want to be a veterinarian when I grow up because I love animals.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Katie. Every Sunday in our worship, we set some time for quiet, for sitting in silence together and breathing. A time for each of us to connect in our own individual way to whatever we hold sacred. Please now settle into your chair and breathe. Together we'll share in our centering song, and then we'll have a few moments of shared silence. Every week, we share with one another the personal milestones of our lives, the joys and sorrows that mark our days, so that we might care for one another better and grow stronger as one community. Please, if you have a sorrow to share with us today, type it now into the chat box and I will read them aloud. It looks like perhaps we don't have any. Oh, here we go. Here's one from Florence, sending love and support to several loved ones struggling with health concerns, especially our dear friend Scott and my Uncle John. From Jeannie, a sorrow from David and Jean. From my brother-in-law who will be starting chemo, radiation, and surgery for colon cancer. From Laura Spear, she sends a candle from her daughter Allison. Sorrow that I had to miss my best friend's birthday party. Let us pause now to hold all the sorrows of this community, those both spoken and unspoken. Let us hold them in reverence. May all those who are struggling this week know that we are with them. May they feel our compassionate connection. As we hold the sorrows in our hearts, we promise to help however we can, and we send our wishes and prayers for strength and healing. I will now light one candle as a beacon of care for all the sorrows spoken and unspoken today. Now I ask for all the joys that you'd like to share. Type those into the chat box and I will read them aloud. From Mary Beth, Dan and I visited with our college man at WPI last night. It was great to see him, and because we are not in his bubble now, I couldn't hug him like I wanted to. From Paul and Michelle, a candle of joy and appreciation for all the support the Immigration Ministry has received from our MUUC community. From Florence, joy for our first hike in the Pine Banks, delightful. From Martha, candle of joy, my daughter-in-law's mother has recovered from COVID and is starting today from the Philippines, where she has been since before Christmas. From Cheryl, a joy from Anna. We got a BB-8 toy yesterday. Anna and Lily have been playing with it a lot. And I think that completes our joys for today. Thank you all. By speaking these joys, you invite us to share in your happiness, and we rejoice with you. I will light one more candle to shine out our joy for all the blessings shared here this morning. Please join me now in the spirit of prayer. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within. All of us are on a journey, from birth to death, from knowing to not knowing, from rising to falling and back again. Sometimes alone, sometimes together, sometimes running as refugees, sometimes walking as pilgrims. We go along. And on the road, we meet one another, we meet the holy. Will we, in these tender moments, reach out and reach in? Will we lift up and be lifted up? It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough. Let us pray this morning. Bless these, the journey of our lives. Bless the bendy road ahead. Bless the corners and the curves we cannot see around. Grant us faith to keep walking. Let us pray this morning for all those travelers we meet along the path. Bless the prophets, the teachers, the immigrants, the asylum seekers, all those who invite us to learn and grow and become more whole, more human, more alive in this moment. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, we know we belong to one another. Amen. Now it is time for our offertory. If you are moved by our service this morning, I invite you to donate using the yellow button in the top right corner of our homepage at melroseuu.org. Be sure to use the note area to mark your gift as pledge or plate. And remember that half of our donations this month go to Refugee and Immigration Ministry in Malden. That's the group that helps us support our refugees and immigrants that we work with. While you do that, please enjoy this lovely choral piece sung by Beth and John and Randall. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So now for our reading and sermon part of the service, I pass it over to the immigration ministry team who have worked really hard to create a service for you today. I want to mention, in addition to Paul and Michelle, whom you've already met this morning, the team consists of Kathy K, Alex, Nancy F, and Carol. And this next person I'm introducing, Ginger. Ginger is also a professional playwright, and she is going to share with us our first reading today. Ginger, are you here? Can you introduce it, please?
Yes, I am here. Thank you. So about a year and a half ago, I was approached by a theater group called In Good Company, and they were interested in having me write the book of a musical about immigration. So over the next 6-8 months or so, I developed a story and wrote a script in collaboration with the composer, whose name is Andres Ballesteros. And we came up with a story. The In Good Company had decided they were interested in the city of Lawrence, which has a very rich immigration history, as you probably know, and a very rich immigration present. So we came up with a story about a group of activists in present-day Lawrence who were grappling with that city's immigration history, both past and recent. So more recent immigrants dealing with the legacy of the older immigrants. And what you're going to see is a bit of and then, of course, this was supposed to be performed in last May and June, and that did not happen. So undeterred, the company came up with a way to video a few scenes and songs from the show and be able to present them as a little teaser for what will someday be a fully staged production. And so what you're about to see is a little bit of a scene and one of the group numbers in the way it was ingeniously video filmed. So thank you and enjoy this scene from the musical Radiance of the Day.
Fellow justice seekers, here's what's happening. Self-proclaimed historian Kathy Bukowski-Serrano and her crew are proposing a new memorial celebrating immigrants. A statue of, wait for it, another white person.
Aw, come on.
Original, right? But that's not all. Our friend Luz from City Hall has some new info for us. Let's hear it.
Kathy is in the process of getting permission for her monument. It looks like the city will give it to her, along with some funding.
Wait, what? They just cut funding for immigrant services.
Yeah. Our schools are falling apart and they want to pay money for a statue.
The strike is important history, but there are other stories worth telling.
Like how in the 1960s, when the white people decided they didn't want to live here anymore, and it was the Puerto Ricans and Dominicans who came and worked in the mills and saved the city from collapse.
And if you want to talk about great leaders, what about Sonia Martinez? She's my idol. She helped hundreds of immigrants settle here and become productive citizens.
We should have a monument to Sonia.
Indeed.
Well, I think Sonia would want us to help those who need it now, today. So I say we fight this whole monument travesty and get the money back for ESL classes and translators.
Kathy won't like that.
Yeah, and she's got a lot of powerful friends.
Going up against the historical society will be tough, Gabby.
All the more reason to do it. This city belongs to all immigrants, not just the Irish, not just the Italians and the Poles. My parents came here and started a business. Luz's mom is practically an institution in the school.
Oh my god, Miss Katana was like my favorite custodian ever.
I still remember her singing in the hallways.
Okay, Gabby, we get it.
Point is, Kathy might think only her ancestors matter, but the new immigrants are here, and we are not going away. This is a city built by immigrants through centuries of diligence. Just look at my parents. They came here as refugees from Afghanistan in the 80s. with nothing but the clothing on their backs. Now their store employs 100 people. Would you rather they had stayed? Would you rather they had never have come to the city with their dreams and their schemes to build a Hasim team store? 'Tis a pity to esteem only one theme of this pretty city's 50 nationalities. Bread, freedom, and social justice. Bread, freedom, and social justice. And what about your mother? She's a star.
Just a custodian.
She's another one of hardworking immigrants building community every single day in the city since she came with nothing but her dreams.
Hey!
And you from the DR 20 years ago.
16.
Okay, but still. Would you rather they had never have come to the city with their hopes to learn the ropes and challenge tropes? Well, under a microscope, 'tis a pity to deem just a single theme to be worth sharing. Let's unite to tell our stories, cuz the people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
The Wabanaki made their home here many centuries ago. Passamaquoddy, Penobscot, Abenaki, and Samoa. Their confederacy lived peacefully. Imagine that tableau. Till the colonists showed up and they upset the status quo. There's been ways of immigrants exploring since those days, bringing industry and culture in 100,000 ways. Come from Ireland, Canada, England, Germany, Italy, Poland, Lithuania, Syria, Puerto Rico, Vietnam.
Since you can't determine aim or shun us, here's the term in which you'll join us. We're the voice that determines this nation through our determination. We are the people. As we go marching, give us bread, give us roses. All right. Great work, you guys. Oh, see you later. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Ginger. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. What a great introduction to this topic. Thank you so much. Our second reading today is an update from the family we call M+4. They're asylum seekers, a family of 5 that our congregation has been supporting now for 2 years. Josh, please share the video from M+4.
Hi everyone, this is Miriam and I'm here to say hi to everyone. I know it's been quite a long time without seeing each other, meeting each other, especially all the people that have put a hand of hope to me and my children. I'm glad to announce to you that finally I managed, with your hope, to get an apartment in Melrose. So we are now independent, and also I managed to get myself a job at the YMCA, and I work as a toddler stroke infant teacher, assistant teacher, sorry. And at the same time, a few weeks back, I managed to get myself a job with Tribute Home Care, where I work as a caregiver. Thank you for everything. My kids are back in school, and due to whatever is going on in the country, the family of the 18 bags, Laura and Seth, helped me. They asked me to bring the kids to their house every day to help them with their work so that I can be able to go to work. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for everything. I've been receiving everything throughout the pandemic. You guys stood with us. We never starved. However much I was not working for 5 months. It was for 4 months I was at home not working, but I'm glad I never starved. The kids never starved. You people stood with us. Thank you also for ever contributed the kids managed to go to the YMCA searching camp. And I want to thank everyone, like everyone. I don't know how to thank you guys, but I know God knows what I feel. Thank you and thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, this is Sydney Sampala. All here with my siblings. Hi. Yeah, I'm a senior this year, and I'm glad that you guys have been helping us and everything. I've been working all along to top us, but yeah, everything is good. And I have Kayla here, I have Javon, and then I have Mom. So let me give you Kayla. She has something to say.
Hi, I'm in first grade this year, and thank you for all what you've been helping us. Yes, I appreciate it.
Hi, I'm in 5th grade this year, and thank you for everything you have done, also for the money for the camp.
Hey, what about you?
Hi.
Alright, good night.
Hi, my name is Jovan, and I'm in 9th grade, and I play soccer, yeah, and yeah, so thanks for helping, yeah.
And in our sermon spot today, we have something totally different from usual. We have a conversation between one of our church members and the refugee who has been living with her for the last year. Josh, please share the Amy and Caroline video.
Hi, so I'm Amy Cooper Ailes, and my husband Rob and I decided a year ago to bring Caroline to live at our house. It was after I saw the Unitarian Immigration Service a year ago about the family from Uganda that has been served by this church, and seeing their smiles and their excitement about living in the US and living in Melrose was so inspiring. After the service, I reached out to RIM in order to see if we could help, because fortunately we had some space in our house that we were able to open up to someone. So I can't believe it was actually a year ago when that happened. And then Caroline came to live with us not too much longer after that. And as part of this year's service in 2020, Reverend Suzanne asked if I would speak about our experience with having Caroline live with us and how it's helped me to grow, how it's changed me. And it gave me some pause to think about how it's changed me. And mostly, the reason why I wanted to do it was the idea that we could actually help someone in this really local way, in this very tangible way, when usually when you're trying to help, it doesn't feel like you actually ever know how it's touched someone's life. And this seemed like an amazing opportunity to touch someone's life in a really direct way, and use the space that we had in our home, and to live the way I'd always tried to live and always thought I would live, which was in a way that would help others, show my daughter what it means to help others. In the model of thinking about the Good Samaritan, when other people refuse to help, maybe there's a way we can help. So that felt really good, and it still feels like we did something good. So I think one of the things, when I think about how I've grown or changed since last year, is when I started off in this process with inviting Caroline into our home, I think I had a certain naivete about what it meant to help work with a refugee, with an immigrant to this country. And I thought, well, it felt like a very joyful and happy process, which it certainly is. But I knew nothing about it, and I knew nothing of what it meant for Caroline to be a refugee, for her to have come to this country after all the things that happened in Cameroon. I think I had naivete about the process of what Caroline had to go through and how long it would take. I remember us having conversations that this would take a month or two. And I think Caroline was like, uh-huh. And my husband was like, yeah, I don't think it's going to take a month or two. I think everyone but me knew that it was going to take much longer, and it has. it has taken about a year in order for Caroline to kind of get settled here, get her feet underneath herself. I mean, she's been in the country for 2 years. So getting her working papers took almost 2 years, the working permit. It was not a quick process as we originally thought it might be, which certainly didn't get speedier with COVID. It got slowed down by that. But at that point, when she had the working papers, she was able to get a job pretty quickly, which was great. But also, I was naive about how it would impact her, just the trauma of someone who's been through what she's been through, not just for her, but for her family and her community and her country. Sometimes it's hard for me to hear about it when she struggles with it and struggles to work through it. And it's hard for me to even begin to comprehend what she's been through. So that is something certainly I knew nothing about. I certainly didn't understand fully what kind of support she needed. She has been really wonderfully supported in Melrose by the immigration team, but also in Boston by some of the support that is in place for refugees in Boston, which was really nice to learn more about. The RIM organization has certainly been a huge support to her as well, but there's certainly a team of people that she works with, a community of people that she relies upon for the simplest things to very complex things like the legal battle of what it means to apply for refugee status in the United States. So I certainly have learned a lot about that.
I'm Caroline Manka from Cameroon. Cameroon is in West Africa or the center part of Africa. Cameroon is comprising of 10 regions. We have the English-speaking regions and we have the French-speaking regions, with the majority of the regions being the Francophones and only 2 regions being the Anglophone region, or that some people formerly call the Southern Cameroons. But now we are bilingual. It's one country that comprises of one Cameroon, and sometime in 2016 there was a crisis that started in Cameroon that break out to be called today the Anglophone crisis or the Amazonian crisis, that has made some of us to flee from Cameroon to the US, some to other neighboring countries, some to everywhere in the world to seek a refuge. So I came here because I suffer a lot of persecution from the government and from the Amazonian terrorists. So I had to seek for refuge somewhere like any other person. What I hope will happen next is that since I came here, I've got a lot of assistance from the refugee ministry. My host, the Ailes family, Emmy and Rob, Gracie, so a very beautiful family that I've been with them for a year now. And I got my work permit, my social security with them. I just passed my learner's permit to start driving, and I'm also working now. I picked some hours with home instead senior care. That is a good thing for me for a start. I'm looking forward to go in for my RN exams that will cost me like 2 years. Go back to school because it's not easy for the government to access our documents back home because of the crisis. So the only thing I'm trying to do now is to go back to school and see how I can go along with my education to get my RN exam so I can earn a good salary, to see how I can also assist my children to come over to be safe this way. I want to also say I'm looking forward to see how my health would get better as from before, because I came here very sick, but now I think I have really improved psychologically, physically, emotionally, and otherwise, because of the assistance I've had from everybody that I can't thank them enough. So I have a lot of people trying to push me forward, giving me advice on how I can go along to see how I can break through here and continue to be great, doing great things that will also help the future of some other people in America and the world.
So Caroline and I are going to finish by talking a little bit about, just to say thanks to everybody who's been such a great support. So Caroline?
Yeah, I have to say thanks to the clothing group in the Unitarian Church that Emmy, my host, introduced me to a very beautiful family there too that have been with me spiritually, and that have introduced me to the clothing group that I've learned a lot. Although the COVID-19 had to stop us by that we could not go anymore to continue a lot of work that we have put in place, but I pray we'll meet again and we'll continue to learn more, teach more, exchange more ideas, and make a great family for the future. I want to sincerely thank everybody, and I say God will abundantly bless you. I will pay back one day what everybody has paid to me by the grace of God. Thank you.
Yeah, and we just wanted to say, thanks for introducing us to each other through the RIM service a year ago. That's how Caroline and I came to actually find each other, and have had some good chats and some good laughs along the way. And we hope others can find a way to also support some refugees or some immigrants in their community.
Yeah,
So.
it's a beautiful experiment.
Thank you. A beautiful
Shalom.
experiment. Yes.
Shalom.
Thank you.
Peace.
Yes, a beautiful experiment. Thank you so much for those videos and those updates. And while we were working on this service, Paul and Michelle and the other members of the immigration ministry team got some news about a third family we possibly can be supporting now. Paul and Michelle, do you want to give us a quick update before we sing the closing hymn?
Sure.
Sure. So it's not a family, it's a single person.
His name is David.
His name is David. He, the cluster got word a relatively short time ago that a family who lives right on the border of Malden and Melrose will be living outside of the state for a year, and they offered access to their home to an asylum-seeking client. And this young man has been in the country for a few years now.
14 years.
14, since he was 14, right?
Since he was 14, and he's 21 now.
Yeah, he's from
Honduras, and he came here to live with a family to go through surgeries because he had acid burns in his country. And he's been through over 40 surgeries since he got here.
He's been at the Shriners through all this. Mm-hmm. They've been supporting him. And so he just moved in this weekend.
To this house, yeah. So he's a new client. And I was saying to Reverend Suzanne when we were talking about the service that, Paul and I joined the cluster, and we started with Miriam and the kids. And we just thought, we're going to help this family, and that'll be it. We'll have taken care of them. And then we realized, being part of the cluster, that there's always someone new on the list, and there's always someone to start with. And to help them find the food banks and everything they need, and financial support. So it's an ongoing journey. Mm-hmm. And we hope that other members of our community will join us, join the committee.
Yeah, the immigration ministry is always looking for new members. So if you're interested, please don't hesitate to reach out. There's lots to do, and we'd appreciate all the help and participation that we can get.
Thank you so much. I think it's just so beautiful what you've been doing for the last 2 years. I'm so proud of the immigration ministry team and this church, and how far all these clients have come and moved in their lives, and how much they've taught us and shared with us.
And we're proud of the community too. I mean, every time we ask, people help. So it's beautiful. It really is. Thank you.
Now to introduce our closing hymn is our guest music director, Vivian Montgomery. Go ahead, Vivian.
Good morning, everybody. It's a wonderful, inspiring service to hear everything that the congregation and the community has been doing for this incredibly important mission. Our closing hymn is going to be El Pueblo Unido Jamás Será Vencido. The people united will never be defeated. And if you tuned in earlier, we had a really wonderful set of piano variations by the Massachusetts composer Frederick Rzewski on that same tune. And it's a very powerful tune with an amazing history. And when Suzanne told me that there was that it was being used in Ginger's play excerpt as well, I created a little arrangement and had the choir record it. And this is quoting from Che Guevara, and it's used as a powerful chant at protests and acts of resistance and uprising and calls for action all around the world. So here is El Pueblo Unido Jamás Será Vencido. The people united will never be defeated. Please sing along.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. 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 The people united will never be defeated. 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 El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. 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 The people united will never be defeated. 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 El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
Thank you, Vivian. To know a country takes all we know of love. It's never been easy to keep our promise of raging